Chapter 41 Uchiha Itachi's Anger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 41 Uchiha Itachi's Rage. When the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen heard that Uchiha Kiwama had promised him to come to Anbu, the expression on his face softened and he put on a smile again. He raised his hand and patted Uchiha Kiwama on the shoulder. That's right, young people should not be afraid of trouble and should exercise more so that they can take on more important responsibilities in the future. After hearing what the third Hokage said, Uchiha Qiaoshan nodded repeatedly on the surface, expressing that he agreed with his words, and secretly complained like crazy, "Good guy, you haven't even joined the job yet, and you started to draw a pie for me, and you are not afraid of me choking." After the third Hokage had appeased the Uchiha clan, he was not in the mood to stay here. After all, he liked it very much and a junior who listened to him died, and Shimura Danzo also gave him a big trick. He still wants to go clean it up. Not only must they appease the large and small families in the village and dispel their concerns, but they must also ensure that Konoha village does not care about their blood inheritance limits and family secrets when they come out. After Uchiha Okayama and Uchiha Fugaku sent the third Hokage away, the Uchiha, represented by Uchiha Fugaku, expressed their gratitude to the various family gossips they invited, and the people in these families are also human beings. Seeing that the Uchiha clan is about to move out of Konoha village and there is no conflict of interest with them, they all said that it doesn't matter and they want to get closer to them in the future, just like those who used to exclude the Uchiha clan. At that time, it was the same without their share. The most important thing is that Uchiha Qiaoshan's performance just now was too scary. Such a huge Susanoo was like a god coming to the world, including Shimura Danzo's root group, many of whom were strong jounin, and they were easily defeated by Uchiha Qiaoshan. Solved it with one knife, as long as they are not stupid, they will not easily offend the Uchiha clan who hold such a powerful weapon. Moreover, anyone with a discerning eye can see that Uchiha Okayama's strength has already reached the peak of the shadow level at just how old he is. As long as nothing happens, he can become a peerless strongman in the future. After Uchiha Okayama and Fugaku sent away these family representatives, they finally had time to deal with Uchiha Shirsue's funeral affairs. Uchiha Fugaku looked at Uchiha Shirsue's body lying there with a complex expression. If it hadn't been for Uchiha Qiaoshan's prophecy and the backup plan he had left, Uchiha Shirsue would have really died this time. Fortunately, things went as planned. On the surface, the Uchiha clan died of a genius with great potential. In fact, it was just turning the genius from bright to dark, which was the greatest protection for him. Originally, Uchiha Qiaoshan wanted to use local materials to make a stretcher to carry Uchiha Shirsue. At this time, Uchiha Itachi, who had been silent since Uchiha Shirsue's death, said that he could carry Shirsue's body back. It was a final farewell to his beloved brother Shirsue. Seeing his eldest son like this, Uchiha Fugaku looked at Uchiha Qiaoshan and asked with his eyes whether he should tell Uchiha Itachi the truth. Seeing the questioning look in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes, Uchiha Qiaoshan secretly shook his head and said not to make any noise yet. After the Uchiha group packed up, Uchiha Itachi carried Shirsue's body, protected by other Uchiha tribesmen, and rushed towards the Uchiha tribe in the afterglow of the setting sun. As the saying goes, you have to do a complete show. After carrying Uchiha Shirsue's body back, everyone was not idle. They hurriedly packed up Shirsue's house and decorated it as a mourning hall. Uchiha Itachi took the initiative to stay and keep vigil. The tribesmen then said goodbye and left. After decorating Uchiha Shirsue's mourning hall, Uchiha Qiaoshan wandered out of the clan and went to Ichiraka Ramen to eat several large portions of ramen. Since practicing the thunder armor, his appetite has increased sharply. He can hardly afford to eat, but in contrast, his physical fitness has improved rapidly. Uchiha Qiaoshan has a hunch that his physical fitness will soon reach the critical value. By then, he will be able to raise the Mangekyō Sharingan to eternity. With the Mangekyō Sharingan, my own strength will be greatly improved. After teasing the little iris, Uchiha Qiaoshan packed 2 more large portions of ramen, slowly carried them back to the clan and arrived at Uchiha Shirsue's home. After entering Shirsue's house, Uchiha Qiaoshan happened to see Uchiha Itachi sitting upright and kneeling there, burning paper money for Shirsue. Seeing this, the corner of Uchiha Qiaoshan's mouth twitched, and he thought with some guilt, if Uchiha Itachi knew the truth? Would he chase him with a knife? When the time comes, would he run or resist? Sure enough, he would still drag Mikoto with him. Let's hide on an island in space for a few days. Well, the supplies I worked so hard to prepare came in handy at this time. Just when Uchiha Qiaoshan's thoughts were dangerously divergent, Uchiha Itachi discovered him. After seeing that it was Uchiha Qiaoshan, he politely asked, "Brother Kiwama, you are here to see Brother Shisui, right? After all, your relationship was so good before." As he spoke, the look in his eyes dimmed. Seeing the sadness in Uchiha Itachi's eyes, Uchiha Qiaoshan no longer had any intention of joking, nodded, put the things he brought on the table next to him, and said, "I know you haven't eaten, so I brought it to you. If you eat some, eat it while it's hot, it won't taste good when it's cold." When Uchiha Itachi heard Qiaoshan's words, he shook his head and refused, "Brother Qiaoshan, I'm not hungry, so you should eat first." Uchiha Qiaoshan was stunned for a moment when he heard Uchiha Itachi's words. He looked at what he had brought before he realized what he had done. He didn't expect that Uchiha Itachi was still so observant even when he was so sad. He was indeed a born ninja. Good stuff. Seeing that Uchiha Itachi didn't want to eat, Qiaoshan didn't pay attention. He looked at the time and felt that it was almost done. Then he went directly to Uchiha Shirsui's body. Under Uchiha Itachi's puzzled gaze, he opened the lid. The white cloth on Uchiha Shirsui's body. After Uchiha Itachi saw what Uchiha Qiaoshan had done, he could no longer sit still. He stood up immediately and asked, "Brother Shisui is already dead, what are you going to do? You are desecrating his body like this." Uchiha Qiaoshan saw that Uchiha Itachi, who had always been calm, finally lost his temper. For some reason, he felt a little happy and decided to tease him again. "What else can Uchiha Shisui make me miss?" Of course he left the greatest legacy left, the Mangekyō Sharingan. Rather than letting his Mangekyō rot with him, it is better for me to take it away and use it in a useful place. With that said, he must move forward. Uchiha Itachi saw Uchiha Qiaoshan's bad behavior and couldn't bear it anymore. He took out a kunai. The tip of the kunai pointed directly at Uchiha Qiaoshan and growled, "How dare you touch Shisui-san's body? Try it." Chapter 42 Itachi Uchiha's Kaleidoscope. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 42 Uchiha Itachi's Kaleidoscope. Seeing Uchiha Itachi holding a kunai towards him, Uchiha Qiaoshan slowly turned around and looked at the angry Uchiha Itachi with a calm expression. "Uchiha Itachi, are you serious? You dare to point a weapon at me? Have you ever thought about the consequences of doing this?" As he spoke, Uchiha Okayama opened the Mangekyō Sharingan and looked directly at Uchiha Itachi. His mental power and chakra, which was enough to crush everyone, was concealed. Through the Mangekyō Sharingan, it gave Uchiha Itachi a huge impact. Feeling the huge pressure brought by Uchiha Qiaoshan on him, Uchiha Itachi also opened his Sharingan. At first it was the three Magatama. As the pressure on him from Uchiha Qiaoshan increased, the three Magatama rotated crazily. And finally outlined the Mangekyō Sharingan in the shape of three sickles. With the emergence of the Mangekyō Sharingan, Uchiha Itachi felt that the pressure brought by Uchiha Qiaoshan on him had become much smaller, and his heart that had been beating violently had also calmed down. Seeing Uchiha Itachi displaying his Mangekyō Sharingan under his pressure, although his momentum has not yet surpassed his own, he already had a faint feeling of rivalry. The corner of Uchiha Qiaoshan's mouth raised slightly, and he slowly withdrew his aura and pressure, and withdrew his Mangekyō Sharingan. He looked at Uchiha Itachi with a smile in his eyes, as expected of someone who can make Shisui take a fancy look. Lai also activated the Mangekyō Sharingan. Uchiha Itachi saw Uchiha Qiaoshan chatting leisurely. Even though he had always had a superior IQ, he was a little confused at this time. Then, with some realization, he asked, "Are you testing me?" Uchiha Qiaoshan curled his lips and sat next to him feeling a little bored. "That's not really true. The main reason is that I'm too bored to wait. I'm teasing you." Uchiha Itachi was a little angry when he heard Qiaoshan's words, "Even if you want to test me, don't desecrate Brother Jisui's body. You are also a good friend of Brother Jisui. Are you worthy of him by doing this?" Uchiha Qiaoshan picked up the kettle on the table, poured himself a glass of water, and said nonchalantly, "Then what's there to be sorry for? Shisui is not dead." When Uchiha Itachi heard Qiaoshan's words, he felt pleasantly surprised at first, because there are many secret techniques of suspended animation in this ninja world. He thought that Shisui was the secret technique used, but then he thought about it. The hope had just been ignited. His eyes dimmed again, he shook his head and said, "I also hope that Brother Jisui's death is fake, but the third generation of Hokage has confirmed Brother Jisui's death, and how could that old fox Shimura Danzo hold back when he killed Brother Jisui? Besides, when Brother Jisui died, not only were there people who were proficient in medical ninjutsu, but also the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan were watching. If Brother Jisui had faked his death, how could he have escaped their eyes?" Although Uchiha Itachi said it was impossible, he still couldn't help but open the Mangekyō Sharingan that he had just withdrawn, and carefully observed Uchiha Shisui's body, looking up and down carefully. After that, Uchiha Itachi still turned off the kaleidoscope and just opened the kaleidoscope Sharingan, which was still a little uncomfortable. Uchiha Itachi rubbed his sore eyes and couldn't help but sigh again. He had just looked carefully with a kaleidoscope and still couldn't find a trace of chakra from Uchiha Shisui. For ninjas, chakra is the product of the combination of body and spirit. Only after complete death will there be no chakra in the body. Seeing Uchiha Itachi sighing there, Uchiha Qiaoshan complained in his heart, if Izanagi was so easy to be discovered or cracked, Uchiha Madara's fake death would not have been hidden from Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobi. It's time. Seeing Uchiha Itachi still feeling sad, Uchiha Qiaoshan did not persuade him anymore. After all, counting the time, it was almost time for Uchiha Shisui's Izanagi to activate. In fact, for Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Okayama is not bad for his senses. Although he is partially responsible for the annihilation of the Uchiha clan, the main responsibility lies with Shimura Danzo's fueling the flames, the third Hokage's indecision and Uchiha Obito to do evil in secret. Danzo Shimura did it because of the legacy of his teacher, the second Hokage, and because he coveted the power of the Sharingan, while Obito Uchiha knew that the Uchiha clan was the biggest stumbling block for him to implement the Eye of the Moon plan, because Uchiha the Sharingan of the clan restrains his divine power the most. If his divine power is restrained, he will be an ordinary shadow-level strongman, and his plan will not be able to proceed. Don't you see, only after Uchiha Itachi dies, Uchiha Obito felt that there was no threat anymore, so he came out of the darkness and launched a war against the entire ninja world, and why Uchiha Itachi was forced to destroy his family in the end, leaving only his younger brother. One of the main reasons was that his ideological level was too high, maybe because he had witnessed war and death since he was a child. He is more mature than the average person of the same age, and the height and depth of his thinking are different from ordinary people, even much deeper than that of adults. Therefore, he was praised by the third Hokage for thinking from the Hokage's perspective. While others are still stuck in love, hate, and hatred, he has already transcended ordinary emotions. Therefore, his love has already surpassed the restrictions of his family and even the restrictions of the village, so he can do things that are unimaginable in the eyes of others. The thing to destroy one's own family, in fact, sometimes it is not a good thing to think about problems from a higher position that is not in line with your own, because you will be incompatible with the people next to you. Therefore, Uchiha Itachi only has Uchiha Shisui as a good friend, because Uchiha there are certain similarities between Hizusui's will of fire and his thoughts. What Uchiha Qiaoshan did was to separate the family from the village, so that the village and the family could avoid conflicts, so that the two geniuses of the family would not fall into conflict. As for their future affairs, we will talk about it slowly. At this time, Uchiha Qiaoshan keenly felt a kind of fluctuation, as if a drop of water was dropped into a calm water surface, causing a ripple. Qiaoshan had a clever idea and quickly looked towards Uchiha Shisui, as if he had witnessed a miracle. Uchiha Qiaoshan watched Uchiha Shisui's body lying there quietly, his body stiffened, and his face looked lifeless. A discerning person could tell at a glance that he was a dead person, but in the blink of an eye, the corpse lying there has disappeared, and an identical, rosy-faced, living person appears next to you, and this person is still looking at you with a smile. Uchiha Itachi felt something strange about Uchiha Qiaoshan, looked in the direction of his gaze, and his body immediately froze there. Chapter 43 Arrangement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing that Uchiha Shisui was alive again, and that there were no sequelae, Uchiha Qiaoshan's heart that had been worrying about him was finally relieved. Although he was confident that Izanagi could resurrect Uchiha Shisui, after all, he had learned from Uchiha Madara's mistakes, but knowing is one thing, worrying is another. Seeing Uchiha Shisui looking at him with a smile, Uchiha Qiaoshan couldn't hold it back, but strode over and opened his mouth. He opened his arms, hugged the bastard who worried him, and patted him hard a few times, but Uchiha Shisui did not resist and allowed Uchiha Qiaoshan to move. After all, he has died once. Only those who have been on the verge of death know what it feels like. Moreover, when he accepted this plan, he was already prepared to fail in resurrection and die forever. After all, variables there are too many. For example, if he was left in the root base by Danzo Shimura, then after his death, his Mangekyō Sharingan will definitely be dug out by Danzo Shimura. Then, Ixi was hidden in his eyes by Uchiha Qiaoshan. Naki will not succeed. Also, who knows if Izanagi will be effective by then. After all, Izanagi is a forbidden technique of the Uchiha clan, so I don't know where the limit of this technique is. If Izanagi is resurrected after a while, I don't know if it has been exceeded. Its limit, when the time comes, will it be possible to resurrect him unless Uchiha Qiaoshan's Sharingan is upgraded to the Rinnegan and uses the Rinnegan technique. Therefore, Uchiha Shisui actually risked his life to implement Uchiha Qiaoshan's plan, not only for Uchiha, but also because he trusted Uchiha Qiaoshan, so he was willing to risk death to fight for Uchiha. Future. Uchiha Shisui was able to be resurrected this time. Not only was Qiaoshan very excited, but Shisui himself was also very excited, so he allowed Qiaoshan to vent. Seeing the resurrection of Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Itachi had already broken his calm expression. His face was filled with excitement, and his lips were trembling slightly. He wanted to say something, but he opened his mouth several times. But no words were spoken. In front of the people you care about, you can't always be as calm as water. From the fact that Uchiha Itachi turned on the kaleidoscope in response to Uchiha Shisui's death, we can see the position of Shisui in Uchiha Itachi's heart. After Uchiha Shisui hugged Qiaoshan to vent, he crossed Qiaoshan and came to Uchiha Itachi. Seeing Uchiha Itachi's excited expression and eyes full of strong emotions, he also spread his arms like Qiaoshan and exerted all his strength. Hug Uchiha Itachi. When everything calmed down, Uchiha Shisui looked at Uchiha Qiaoshan and asked with concern, "How is the plan going?" Nothing went wrong, right? That when Uchiha Itachi heard that Shisui was about to discuss the plan with Uchiha Qiaoshan, he asked in a measured manner, "Well, do I need to avoid it?" Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at Shisui's expectant eyes, then looked at Uchiha Itachi's somewhat overwhelmed look, and said angrily, "Originally, I asked you to keep a vigil for Shisui because I was going to tell you our plan, but don't point a kunai at me next time." Uchiha Itachi was quite happy to hear that he could stay, but when Qiaoshan said that he pointed a kunai at him, he touched his nose in embarrassment and his eyes drifted in other directions. Seeing that Uchiha Itachi was a little embarrassed, Uchiha Qiaoshan did not hold on, but told Uchiha Shisui about the progress of the plan. The third Hokage has agreed to the relocation of our Uchiha clan, but at a price. I was asked to go to the Anbu. I originally wanted to take this opportunity to kill Shimura Danzo, but he used Izanagi to hide away. I didn't expect that Danzo not only secretly transplanted the Sharingan, and he also knows our Uchiha's forbidden arts. The third Hokage was at the scene at the time, so in order to avoid any complications, I didn't go after him. Uchiha Shisui nodded, expressing understanding. Uchiha Qiaoshan paused, and then said, "Because even if our Uchiha clan relocates, there is no condition to buy a school for the time being, so I simply made the Uchiha clan's children stay in school as a condition," and then the third Hokage nodded in agreement. Uchiha is relocating, and the parents of these children will stay and take care of their children. Uchiha Shisui breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that the plan was going smoothly, because he not only loved his family, but also loved the village where he grew up. If it weren't for the irreconcilable conflicts between the family and the village, for each other's sake only after no one was harmed did he agree and assist the Uchiha clan to move out. Uchiha Qiaoshan took a sip of water, and then said with a smile, "When we were implementing the plan, there was an unexpected surprise. Because of your death, Uchiha Itachi awakened the Mangekyō Sharingan." When Uchiha Shisui heard what Qiaoshan said, he looked at Uchiha Itachi. As a person who has experienced it, he knew how much sadness was needed to open the Mangekyō Sharingan, just like Uchiha Obito back then. Lin's death, and directly refused to accept the entire world and wanted to create a world with Lin. It is conceivable that Uchiha Itachi opened the Mangekyō Sharingan because of Shisui's death, and how deep his feelings for Shisui must be. And pure, Uchiha Shisui looked into Uchiha Itachi's eyes, with a smile on his lips, and nodded slightly. "Itachi, thank you, and, I'm sorry." Thank you means thanking him for his feelings, sorry means worrying about him. Of course Uchiha Itachi understood, and shook his head slightly. "It doesn't matter, as long as brother Shisui is alive, and I am a blessing in disguise, I have opened the Mangekyō Sharingan." Uchiha Qiaoshan watched the interaction between the two, waited for a while, clapped his hands, and attracted their attention. Okay, the time for reminiscing has passed. We still have business to do and want to chat. There will be plenty of time in the future." Seeing the two people looking over, Qiaoshan said, "Shisui, it's not convenient for you to go out now. I packed a chiraku ramen for you too. Eat it while it's still warm. Pack up your things after eating. I'm already here. I found a good place outside and will send you there before dawn." Seeing the confused looks on the two people's faces, Uchiha Okayama simply explained about Whirlpool Island and his pupil technique, Takamagahara, but he did not have the idea of giving the space mark to Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, as he was at the key point. The trump card of always running away is that Uchiha Qiaoshan does not intend to give the spatial mark to anyone except the people he completely trusts. Didn't you see, it was because Obito Uchiha gave one of his Sharingan eyes to Kakashi that after his identity was exposed, Kamui had a flaw and made him very passive. Otherwise, Kamui would be called Bug's magical skill. Uchiha Obito escaped without any problems. Chapter 44 Exploring the Whirlpool Island. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 44, Exploring the Whirlpool Island. Uchiha Itachi finally understood that the other ramen packaged by Uchiha Qiaoshan was for brother Shisui. At that time, he saw Uchiha Qiaoshan bring 2 portions of ramen and thought that one of Uchiha Kiwama's ramen was included. Uchiha Shisui was not polite. He called Uchiha Itachi and took the ramen. He ate it in his morning hall. There were no outsiders here. If he had seen it after he arrived, he should have been lying down quietly. The people there were eating ramen enthusiastically next to them, and they didn't know how scared they would be. Uchiha Itachi also let go. Anyway, he had already humiliated others and didn't care about it anymore. He seemed to be competing with Shisui and started eating quickly. Unlike Uchiha Qiaoshan, the two of them are not the kind of people with big appetites. After eating a large portion of ramen, they were already very full. Uchiha Qiaoshan didn't talk nonsense and treated the two of them. After eating, he and Uchiha Itachi helped Uchiha Shisui pack up all the things he needed to take away from home, and then put them in his space. After Shisui arrived at Whirlpool Island, he would give the things to him. He, as a single man, Uchiha Shisui didn't have much to pack, except for his own things, which were some ninjutsu scrolls, books and ninja tools left by his parents and elders at home, so he packed them up quickly. In the end, Uchiha Shisui, in addition to the equipment that Haizusui usually carries for tasks, the things he packed were handed over to Uchiha Qiaoshan. After all, Shisui also had a task to go to Uzumaki Island this time. These things will be arranged on Uzumaki Island. Get it from Uchiha Okayama. After everything was done, Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, who were ready to go, and confirmed again, "Uchiha Itachi, are you sure you want to accompany Shisui to Whirlpool Island? You know, the reason why Shisui was sent there in a hurry was because he was afraid that the news of Shisui's fake death would be known to the third Hokage and Danzo Shimura. To avoid causing more trouble, he sent Shisui there and asked him to explore the way to Whirlpool Island first and wait for the clan leader. It will take at least 3 days to organize the first group of people to go to Whirlpool Island with the Great Elder. It seems that Uchiha Itachi also put his mind on the clan after knowing that the Uchiha clan was leaving Konoha village. After all, he is still young and his ideological consciousness has not reached the level where the clan will be exterminated in a few years. Being focused on and brainwashed by the third Hokage and Danzo Shimura, now knowing that his beloved brother Shisui is going to Whirlpool Island to prepare for the relocation of the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Itachi is also a little eager to try and wants to go with Uchiha Shisui. Take a look at Whirlpool Island, Uchiha Itachi heard Uchiha Qiaoshan ask again, and he was not impatient, but nodded again. Brother Qiaoshan, you can rest assured that brother Shisui is with me. Besides, I have turned on the Kaleidoscope to write Rinnegan, his fighting ability is definitely not weak, he should be able to help brother Shisui. After hearing Uchiha Itachi's words, Uchiha Okayama suddenly thought that in the original work, Uchiha Itachi seemed to be in poor health in the later stages. It might be that the Mangekyō Sharingan opened too early, which caused too much burden on the body. This is also a big problem. Part of the reason for blood disease is that the body has not yet fully developed and cannot withstand such a powerful blood disease. He quickly ordered, Uchiha Itachi, your Mangekyō Sharingan opened too early. Don't use it too frequently, which will increase the burden on your body. Otherwise, your body will not be able to bear it. Shisui, you also have to look at it. Pay attention to him and remember, the Sharingan can be used, but the Mangekyō should be used as little as possible. Uchiha Qiaoshan felt relieved when he saw Shisui and Itachi both nodded. Qiaoshan estimated that in the original work, the reason why Uchiha Itachi's body became seriously ill was also related to Uchiha Itachi not cherishing his own body. After all, no matter how mature Uchiha Itachi is, he is still a young teenager. He was charged with genocide at a young age and personally killed his parents. If he didn't have a younger brother to take care of, he probably would have wanted to die a long time ago, so he wouldn't care for his body. When his body was overdrawn and injured, he should also have a mentality of atonement. Over time, plus last time, he was out undercover alone. When encountering troubles and battles, he could only carry them by himself. It was not surprising that he would become extremely ill, however, just in case, both the Uchiha clan after the relocation and Uchiha Itachi's body need a medical ninja with superb medical skills. When thinking of medical ninjas, the first thing Uchiha Qiaoshan thinks of is the broad-minded Tsunade and the gentle and kind-hearted pharmacist Nanoyu. Judging by the time, Yakushi Nono should not have been killed by Danzo yet, so if possible, he can be saved. The most important thing is Tsunade. With her broad mind and turbulent waves, no one will be confused after seeing her. Moreover, Tsunade is the princess of the Senju clan. She has the purest blood of the Senju clan, regardless of the powerful body she was born with. The strength and vitality far beyond ordinary people are the objects of Uchiha Okayama's covetous desire. If the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan combine, will the child born have the potential to grow into a sage of 6 paths? Thinking of this, Uchiha Qiaoshan secretly made up his mind. Just in case, he must invite Tsunade to the Uchiha clan to check Uchiha Itachi's body. If she is unwilling to come, she can make appropriate changes. Invite her here in other ways. Uchiha Qiaoshan sighed secretly. Oh, I am really worried about the Uchiha clan. After Uchiha Qiaoshan once again confirmed that Uchiha Itachi was going to Uzumaki Island with Shisui, he stopped talking nonsense, stretched out his hands and pressed them on their shoulders, activated the pupil technique Takamagahara, and led the 2 people in the space. After a slight pause, he activated the pupil technique again, bringing the 2 of them directly to the Whirlpool Island through the space mark left on the Whirlpool Island. After Uchiha Qiaoshan brought Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi to Whirlpool Island, he gave them a few simple instructions and threw them the living supplies he had prepared in the space before. which were enough for them to use for the past few days. Did not stay any longer, and returned to the space of Takamagahara after saying goodbye. After sending Shisui and Uchiha Itachi away, Uchiha Qiaoshan finally breathed a sigh of relief. After hard work and planning, he finally saved these two geniuses of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Shisui did not die, the Mangekyō Sharingan was not snatched away by Danzo, and Uchiha Itachi would not be coerced by Danzo to destroy the Uchiha clan, but he became a rebellious nin that everyone despised, and finally died miserably. Uchiha Qiaoshan took a rest in a Takamagahara space. Although his system helped him minimize the side effects of the Mangekyō Sharingansai technique, such frequent use still made Uchiha Qiaoshan feel a little uncomfortable. Well, let's use it one last time. Uchiha Qiaoshan said to himself after entering the house in the space. Then, Uchiha Qiaoshan silently felt the space mark, and found the one belonging to Uchiha Mikoto. Then Qiaoshan activated the space mark. Then, a slim figure wearing light pajamas, who was still sleeping, appeared. An omen appeared on the tatami in front of Uchiha Okayama. Chapter 45 Takamagahara Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After this person has worked hard and achieved success, it is not too much to reward himself a little. Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at Uchiha Mikoto who appeared in front of him and thought silently in his heart, this is also a wonderful use of the space mark. Since this space mark is marked on a person and integrated with the person, since Uchiha Mikoto can come to the Takamagahara space by activating the space mark, then Uchiha Qiaoshan serves as a symbol of this space. It is only natural for the master to summon Sister Mikoto into this space by activating the mark, since I have been busy with Uzumaki Island and Uchiha Shisui this week, and Uchiha Itachi also finished his mission and went home, except for the time when Sister Mikoto came to see him. Uchiha Qiaoshan also didn't look for Uchiha Mikoto anymore to complete the major events in life. Now, Uchiha Shisui has been rescued, and the Uchiha clan has also left Konoha according to his plan. The rest of the things are not important, as long as they follow the plan. Therefore, it was natural for Uchiha Qiaoshan to call Uchiha Mikoto to reminisce about the past. At the same time, he was also responding to the recent call of the Uchiha clan to have more children and strengthen and prosper the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Mikoto woke up a little when she was summoned by Qiaoshan. After all, she could still feel the lack of a quilt on her body. Uchiha Mikoto drowsily propped up her upper body, and the waves under her loose pajamas became increasingly apparent. She half asleep looked at the person who appeared in front of her. Mikoto breathed a sigh of relief when she saw it was Uchiha Qiaoshan. Since she was with Qiaoshan-kun, Uchiha Mikoto always sleeps alone at night. A person appeared in front of her at night, which also shocked her. Uchiha Mikoto rubbed her eyes and asked confusedly, is there anything wrong with Qiaoshan-kun coming to see me so late? That it was rare for Uchiha Qiaoshan to see the confused Mikoto. He also smiled. He quickly took off his clothes, stepped forward and hugged Mikoto, buried his head in Mikoto's neck, took a deep breath, and smelled breathing Sister Mikoto's body fragrance. She replied in a sullen voice, I missed Sister Mikoto, so I came here. Uchiha Mikoto was hugged by Qiaoshan, and she also hugged him with her back, but said in a somewhat sad tone, I also miss Qiaoshan, but this kid Itachi has been in the village these days. This kid is too sharp. Just because I slept in a separate room with Fugaku, he knew it. Fortunately, Fugaku helped me cover up, so I wasn't suspected by him. Seeing that Uchiha Mikoto was still worried, Uchiha Qiaoshan couldn't help but kiss her on the lips and said with a smile, you little confused, look where you are now. After being reminded by Uchiha Qiaoshan, Uchiha Mikoto took a closer look at the furnishings of the room, only to find that she had been summoned to his space by Qiaoshan-kun. Seeing her here, Uchiha Mikoto also breathed a sigh of relief. While kissing Qiaoshan, she complained, Qiaoshan knows how to tease me and brought me here quietly. Since you have with this ability, why didn't you call me here earlier? Or, Lord Qiaoshan is tired of me after all. Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at Uchiha Mikoto, who seemed to be possessed by a drama queen. He didn't expect that Mikoto-san still had this side. Although he knew she was just faking it, Qiaoshan quickly comforted her, saying that he was really busy recently and didn't miss Mikoto. Sister, but when comforting, Uchiha Qiaoshan's hands kept wandering around Uchiha Mikoto's body as if they had their own thoughts. The two of them were bored for a while, and Uchiha Qiaoshan seemed to have remembered something. He smiled and said to Sister Mikoto, who was relying on him and couldn't get up, "Sister Mikoto, I forgot to tell you some good news. Itachi asked me to send him away and stop. Shuei has performed his mission, you don't have to worry that he will notice something is wrong with you." Although Uchiha Mikoto didn't care about the Uchiha clan's affairs, as the clan leader's wife, she still had good information channels. She asked curiously, "Didn't Uchiha Shuei let Danzo get killed? And didn't Itachi take the initiative to do it today? Did Shuei attend the wake? Why is it that not only Shuei is not dead, but he and Itachi were also sent out on a mission by you?" That while holding Mikoto-san, Uchiha Qiaoshan told Mikoto what he had done recently. After Qiaoshan finished telling the story, Uchiha Mikoto also said to Uchiha Qiaoshan with a sly expression, "Qiaoshan-kun, I also want to tell you some good news." Seeing Mikoto-san's expression, Uchiha Qiaoshan asked with some uncertainty, "Mikoto-san is pregnant? Or do you feel sick and want to vomit?" But Mikoto shook her head, "Not yet, how could it be so fast?" Then, Uchiha Mikoto blushed and whispered in Uchiha Qiaoshan's ear, "These days are the luckier days for my sister. As long as Qiaoshan-kun works harder these days, my sister will never leave." It's 10. Uchiha Okayama was no longer a ignorant Hina. Of course he understood what Mikoto-san meant. He couldn't help but hugged Mikoto's arm tightly and confirmed again, "Mikoto-san, really?" Uchiha Mikoto blushed and nodded shyly, but said no more. Seeing Mikoto-san's shy expression, and thinking of what Mikoto-san had just told him, Uchiha Okayama could no longer control himself and pounced on her. On this uninhabited island that belongs to another dimension, Uchiha Qiaoshan and Uchiha Mikoto are completely free. No one here can disturb them. In addition, Uchiha Qiaoshan's thunder armor has recently been released. Uchiha Mikoto, who was motivated and therefore killed, was defeated after repeated defeats. After repeated defeats, she was defeated and begged loudly for mercy, in order to fulfill Qiaoshan-kun's wish and give birth to a child that belongs to them. Uchiha Mikoto also worked hard, refused to accept failure, and resisted many times. Although she was suppressed by Qiaoshan-kun again, she also got the spoils of war. Neither of them are easygoing people, so the battle was very fierce, until Uchiha Qiaoshan used his newly learned ultimate move, Thunder Armor, which not only accelerated his attack speed, but also made Uchiha Qiaoshan use the small bright blue armor on his body. The current would shock Uchiha Mikoto from time to time. This kind of stimulation directly caused Uchiha Mikoto to collapse, and she no longer had the ability to resist. In the end, it was only Uchiha Qiaoshan who held her in his arms to prevent her from going limp. After the two of them had enjoyed themselves, they packed up and came out of the space, but the sky was already bright. After Uchiha Mikoto saw that it was dawn, she said hello to Qiaoshan-jun and hurried to prepare breakfast. Although Uchiha Mikoto no longer has a relationship with Uchiha Fugaku, she still has two children. For the sake of their children, she must play her role as a good wife and mother. Of course, if Mr. Qiaoshan wanted her to leave this home and be with him, she would choose Mr. Qiaoshan without hesitation. Chapter 46 How to Evolve the Mangekyō Sharingan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 46, How to Evolve the Mangekyō Sharingan. After Uchiha Qiaoshan and Sister Mikoto separated, they were not idle. Uchiha Qiaoshan had already obtained the inheritance of the Uchiha clan from the great elder Uchiha Ling. However, there is still a time bomb hidden in the Uchiha clan. It was this time bomb that caused Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama to part ways, which led to the subsequent Ninja World War, and this time bomb is a stone tablet hidden in Nanga Shrine. Legend has it that this stone tablet was left by the Sage of Six Paths and collected by the Uchiha clan for generations. It hides the truth of the world, so the Uchiha clan has always treasured this stone tablet. And this stone tablet is indeed magical. As the level of Sharingan gets higher and higher, more and more content can be seen. Back then, as the differences between Uchiha Madara and the first Hokage Senju Hashira became more and more unbearable, Uchiha Madara found a very extreme idea from this stone tablet handed down from the Six Paths sage. Solution: Eye of the Moon Project, to say that Uchiha Madara is also a genius of the ninja world. If it were not for Senju Hashirama who appeared at the same time as him, Uchiha Madara could be said to have suppressed the ninja world for an era. However, it may be that Uchiha Madara is a perfectionist, and seeing that the idea of establishing a village by his close friend first Hokage Senju Hashirama is of no use, this will only lead to the escalation of war in this world. It was originally just wars and struggles between clans with different surnames. After the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan joined hands with other small clans to establish the Leaf Village, their strength increased greatly, causing other countries to follow suit and join forces to establish the ninja village. And the establishment of ninja villages and the increase in strength will lead to the fact that if a war breaks out between various countries, it will evolve into a world war in the ninja world. By then, both civilians and ninjas will be affected. Moreover, once a war breaks out, it will eventually turn into a shortage of personnel, and children of a few years old who can learn the three body arts will go to the battlefield. Uchiha Itachi is an example. It should be said that Uchiha Madara's vision was very accurate. It was because he had a premonition of this result that he could not accept it and wanted to make changes. Senju Hashirama had different ideas from Uchiha Madara, so Uchiha Madara would run away. However, the Uchiha clan was greedy for the hard-won peace, so they did not leave Konoha village with their clan leader, Uchiha Madara. The reason why Uchiha Madara left that year was the method of world peace he saw on the stone tablet left by the Sage of Six Paths, the Eye of the Moon Project. This is also the reason why Uchiha Madara fought with Senju Hashirama again later. He needed Senju Hashirama's flesh and blood to be integrated into his body to form the power of all things. Only by opening the reincarnation eye that the Six Paths Sage has, only in this way can the body of the Ten Tails be summoned, so that the Eye of the Moon plan can be launched. However, Uchiha Okayama knew that the content of this stone tablet was modified by Black Zetsu, the third son of Kagaya Otsutsuki who stayed before he was sealed, and Black Zetsu's purpose was to open the Eye of the Moon and resurrect him. His mother, Kagaya Otsutsuki. Therefore, Uchiha Madara was miserably deceived by Black Zetsu. He only wanted world peace, but was exploited by Black Zetsu. Therefore, in order to reduce trouble and prevent those tribesmen who had activated the Mangekyō Sharingan from thinking wildly, including Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, who had not yet had time to discover the contents of the stone tablet, Uchiha Qiaoshan decided to pull the plug and directly the stone tablet was moved and placed in his space so that no one could touch the stone tablet anymore. Nanga Shrine is the place where the Uchiha clan holds clan meetings and worships their ancestors. Although it is a solemn place for the Uchiha clan, because there is nothing valuable in it, the Uchiha clan has no sect. People guard. Before, Uchiha Qiaoshan actually came to Nanga Shrine to pay homage to this stone tablet, but at that time, Uchiha Qiaoshan still had the three Magatama Sharingan. When he looked left and right in front of this stone tablet, he almost lost the three Magatama Sharingan. He was so cross-eyed that he didn't see the content above. After he later became the Mangekyō Sharingan, he has been busy saving the tragedy of Uchiha's genocide and Shisui's life, and he was well aware of the above content, so he didn't read it. Now, the Uchiha clan is preparing to move. Regarding this historic stone monument, the great elders will never leave it here. Uchiha Qiaoshan decided to take the first step and move this stone monument into space. And when the great elder asks him for it, he will find a fake piece for them. As for this source of trouble, let it lie in the space forever. Uchiha Okayama strolled to Nanga Shrine in the early morning sunshine. Not many people usually came here, and this morning, there was no one at all. Uchiha Qiaoshan came to the stone tablet and opened the Mangekyō Sharingan. After seeing the content on the stone tablet, Uchiha Qiaoshan curled his lips. It was almost as he expected, and there was no unexpected content. The above briefly introduces the origin of the ninja world, the spread of chakra, the Otsutsuki clan, the sacred tree and the fruit of the sacred tree, the 10 tails that went berserk when sealed by the Six Paths Sage, as well as the evolution of the Sharingan of the Uchiha clan. And how to make it, how to evolve the Mangekyō Sharingan into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. In fact, Uchiha Okayama was skeptical about this method. Tracing back to the source, Indra, the eldest son of the Six Paths sage, had only one younger brother, Asura. Not to mention whether Asura would gouge his eyes for his brother, the key is that Asura inherited the Sage of Six Paths has a fairy body and does not have Sharingan. In other words, there was no second pair of Mangekyō Sharingan for Indra at that time to make him the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. Moreover, Indra's Mangekyō was not blind at that time. It can be seen that the evolution of the Mangekyō Sharingan into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan is not the only way to transplant a blood relative's Mangekyō. Besides, with the status and structure of the Six Paths sage, it is impossible for the Uchiha clan to leave this path of evolution full of blood and pain. It can be seen from this that the Mangekyō Sharingan can be evolved into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan by one person, and the method left on the stone tablet is probably a simple method left by Black Zetsu to the Uchiha clan in order to implement his plan. A crude, low-condition method. It can be seen from Uchiha Okayama's system that it can only lower the threshold and reduce side effects, but it cannot create something out of nothing. Therefore, the correct way to evolve from the Mangekyō Sharingan to the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan should be you only by possessing mental power and an escape chakra that far exceeds that of ordinary people, and meeting the conditions for kaleidoscope evolution, can it evolve successfully. Moreover, the evolution of the three Magatama Sharingan into the Mangekyō Sharingan all has the eye technique. In the original work, one of Uchiha Sasuke's eyes evolved into the Rinnegan and also received the eye technique. So, the evolution of the Mangekyō into the eternal Mangekyō should be there will also be pupil skills. It is probably because they evolved in the wrong way and took shortcuts, so they did not awaken new pupil skills. Chapter 47 Disciple Uchiha Sasuke. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It should be said that Uchiha is indeed the longest-standing family in the ninja world. Although the founder of the family, Indra, fell out with the Sage of Six Paths and Asura, in addition to the position of successor of the ninja sect, the benefits that Sage of Six Paths gave Indra are nothing less. Finally, in order to guide Indra's descendants, a stone tablet recording the evolution of the Sharingan was left to the Uchiha clan. It should be that Uchiha Qiaoshan's Sharingan level is not enough. Uchiha Qiaoshan still hasn't seen the content recorded on the stone tablet about the way the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan evolved into the Samsara Eye and the Eye of the Moon project. Those contents should be it is only when the Sharingan evolves to the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan that it can be seen. Uchiha Qiaoshan's Mangekyō Sharingan has reached the pinnacle of the Mangekyō Sharingan, and has almost touched the realm of the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. Therefore, when Qiaoshan uses his Sharingan at full power, he can still see that there is still a lot of blur on the stone tablet. The handwriting appeared, but the content could not be seen clearly, but it was probably the content left by Heiju pretending to be the Sage of Six Paths. Being able to see blurred handwriting is also because the pupil power of Uchiha Okayama's Mangekyō Sharingan far exceeds that of the normal Mangekyō Sharingan. Since he can't see clearly now, he should look at it later. Anyway, his Sharingan is about to reach the eternal kaleidoscope. Uchiha Qiaoshan didn't hesitate anymore. He directly showed Susanoo's skeleton arm and uprooted the stone tablet. Then he threw it into a corner of the space island. After moving this stone monument, Uchiha Qiaoshan's purpose of coming to Nanga Shrine was completed. After visiting the shrine, he guessed that Uchiha Mikoto had already prepared breakfast, so Uchiha Qiaoshan came directly without being polite. Arrive at her house for breakfast, but it wasn't Uchiha Okayama who wanted to come. After all, he was still a little embarrassed when facing Uchiha Fugaku. It was because Uchiha Fugaku wanted to discuss something with him and asked Mikoto to invite him. Uchiha Mikoto simply invited him over to eat breakfast. Uchiha Qiaoshan also asked Uchiha Fugaku and the Great Elder to discuss the list of the first batch of clan members to go to Whirlpool Island, so he agreed. When Uchiha Qiaoshan arrived at the clan leader's house, he happened to catch up with Uchiha Mikoto who had prepared breakfast. After saying hello to Uchiha Fugaku and Mikoto, and nodding towards the curious Shota Uchiha Sasuke, Uchiha Qiaoshan enjoyed a hearty breakfast at the clan leader's house. After eating breakfast, Uchiha Fugaku brought Qiaoshan into the reception room, but what was different from the past was that Uchiha Mikoto and their son Sasuke also came to the reception room. After Uchiha Fugaku sat down in the main seat, he first took a sip of tea, and then said seriously to Uchiha Qiaoshan. "The reason I invited Mr. Qiaoshan here this time is to make Mr. Qiaoshan Sasuke's teacher. Firstly, it's because Sasuke has reached school age and needs the guidance of a good teacher. Although Sasuke's talent is not as good as his brother's, he can still be considered a talent that can be created. Qiaoshan-kun is the #1 master of our Uchiha clan, and there is no more suitable candidate than Qiaoshan-kun. Secondly, our Uchiha clan is preparing to relocate recently. As the clan leader, I must go there to take charge of the overall situation. Only with me here can the clan members feel at ease. And Qiaoshan-kun was left by the third Hokage to join the ANBU. Usually while he is away, I still hope that Mr. Qiaoshan can help their mother and son from time to time." Having said that, Uchiha Fugaku entered the meeting without giving Qiaoshan a refutation, and directly bowed his head to Uchiha Qiaoshan. "Please, Qiaoshan-kun." Uchiha Qiaoshan didn't expect that Uchiha Fugaku came to him because of this matter. Although he didn't like Uchiha Sasuke in the original work very much, that was because Sasuke had experienced the annihilation of his clan and the murder of his parents by his brother. Filled with the idea of revenge, his character is twisted and certainly not likable. However, as the reincarnation of Indra, Uchiha Sasuke's talent is actually quite good, and because he has Indra's chakra in his body, his future achievements will not be much lower. As for his personality, Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at the confused little Sasuke and said that he could still be trained in the future. Uchiha Qiaoshan believes that there is no such thing as a child who cannot be trained well. It only depends on whether you are willing to take action. Besides, Sasuke is still a lovable little Shota. I believe that Uchiha Sasuke will not go through the genocide and the death of his parents again. His character should not be distorted in any way. Uchiha Okayama looked at Uchiha Mikoto, who looked expectant, then at the confused little Sasuke and Fugaku, who was still lowering his head. He stopped pretending to be reserved and agreed directly. Uchiha Qiaoshan nodded. "Since the clan leader thinks highly of me and asks me to be Sasuke's teacher, if I refuse, I will be a bit ungrateful. Clan leader, don't worry, Sasuke will be left to me from now on. This teacher is not an irresponsible teacher like Kakashi, who is appointed by the village, but a teacher who is responsible for the lives of his disciples, teaches his disciples, and regards his disciples as his successors. It can be said that this teacher is to his disciples second only to his parents. This disciple's status is not much different from that of the teacher's children." However, Uchiha Qiaoshan agreed, and he would be responsible to the end and train Sasuke to become a strong man, instead of being matured by Uchiha Itachi and Orochimaru like in the original work, becoming a person who stretches his hips at critical moments. Uchiha Fugaku was very happy when he saw that Uchiha Qiaoshan agreed, and quickly organized an apprenticeship ceremony for Sasuke to become his disciple. Finally, Sasuke served tea to Uchiha Qiaoshan, and Uchiha Qiaoshan gave him a well-made. The sword was presented to Sasuke, and this was considered as completing the apprenticeship ceremony. After little Sasuke became his master, Uchiha Qiaoshan was not in a hurry to train him. After all, he was still too young. Training and extracting chakra too early would be bad for his future development. When Sasuke started school, there would be no further training. Night, after everything was settled here, Uchiha Qiaoshan and Uchiha Fugaku came to the home of the great elder Uchiha Ling. As the two actual leaders of the Uchiha clan, they must make arrangements for the relocation and arrangement of the clan. It's appropriate. It's impossible to move it all at once. At least it needs to be done several times before it can be completely moved. The first team is responsible for the site selection of the tribe, the environment around the new tribe, and the cleanup of wild animals. There aren't many people in this team. Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi are actually doing what the first team has to do, but they still don't have enough people, so they need to send people to assist them. Chapter 48, Practicing Thunder Escape Armor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 48, Practicing Thunder Escape Armor. the people in the second echelon are responsible for the construction of the clan area, so they are mostly people who are good at earth escape and people with construction experience. Of course, it would be better if there is Yamato who is good at, would escape 3 rooms and 1 hall. It's a pity that the third Hokage will not let him go. Besides, even if the third Hokage does let him go, Uchiha Okayama won't be able to use it. This will not only expose his eye technique Takamagahara, but also expose the new clan. The location of the ground was revealed. Of course, Uchiha Okayama does not expect to be able to hide the Uchiha clan's new clan territory forever. However, if he can hide it for 1 more day, Uchiha will have 1 more day of preparation and construction time. Don't forget that behind the Uchiha genocide, not only it was Shimura Danzo, and Uchiha Obito and Black Zetsu were secretly watching. Therefore, moving the tribe to the island was to isolate White Zetsu, who was good at earth and would escape, as much as possible. By the time the Uchiha clan is discovered by them, the Uchiha clan should have already taken protective measures. As long as they don't send Tendo Pain over and come with a Super Shinra Tensei, the problem is probably not big. The people in the third echelon are most of the members of the clan. They mainly carry a large amount of materials and personnel to ensure the normal operation of the Uchiha clan. In fact, there is still a 4th echelon, and the 4th echelon is responsible for finishing. However, the Uchiha clan has not fallen out with the Leaf Village yet, and there are still Uchiha clan children studying in the ninja school, so some of them need to be reserved. The tribe is in Konoha village to maintain the superficial peace with the village. Uchiha Okayama and Uchiha Fugaku came to the elder's house to discuss and formulate the list of the first echelon. Because Uchiha used to be the security team responsible for the security of Konoha village, so for the sake of the peaceful handover of the security team, they would not give the village, and the third Hokage were not happy to find him. So as not to cause trouble for Uchiha, they had to choose the candidate well. In fact, the people who discussed and made the list here were mainly Uchiha Fugaku and the great elder Uchiha Ling. Although Uchiha Qiaoshan was stronger than them combined, he had specializations in the arts. In this regard, Uchiha Qiaoshan is still far behind. Uchiha Fugaku and the great elder were discussing various aspects, while Uchiha Qiaoshan stood beside him and listened in boredom. It's not that he doesn't want to leave, but as the top combat power of Uchiha with huge development potential, both the great elder and the clan leader Uchiha Fugaku are cultivating him intentionally or unintentionally. As long as he learns more, whether he is willing or not, he will be able to succeed in the future. Always have something to use. Don't think that you can be the leader just because you are strong. It's like asking Naruto Uzumaki to be the Hokage. He was already the strongest person in the ninja world at that time, but why did Kakashi need to be the Hokage for a few years first? In these few years during the time, Uzumaki Naruto was trained into a qualified Hokage in all aspects. After Uchiha Fugaku and the great elder agreed on the list, Uchiha Qiaoshan couldn't bear it anymore and couldn't wait to say goodbye and leave. Uchiha Qiaoshan understood in his heart that in this world, strength is still respected. As long as your strength can reach the level of the first Hokage and Uchiha Madara, then everything else is trivial, so the most important thing for him now is to cultivate his body so that his physical strength can reach the minimum standard required by the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. With his own mental power that is much stronger than others, and because he has copied multiple pupil techniques, and with the skyrocketing eye power and yin attribute chakra, it will definitely be easy to complete the transformation of the Mangekyō Sharingan. Uchiha Okayama knew in his heart that, in fact, there was an easier way to make his physical strength reach the standard, and to transform his Mangekyō Sharingan into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, that is to go to Yamato and use the eye of replication to learn to copy Yamato's wood release. Yamato is the only wood release ninja in Konoha village at this stage. Although his wood release is an incomplete version, since his wood release can deal with Uzumaki Naruto if a person's 9 tails works, it means that his wood release still has some essence of Senju Hashirama. If Uchiha Qiaoshan learns Yamato's wood release through the eye of replication, that is to say, he has learned the incomplete version of the sage body. Although the incomplete version of the sage body cannot allow Uchiha Qiaoshan to directly possess the samsara eye, it can still enhance it. Uchiha Qiaoshan's physique increases the vitality of his body, and the wooden chakra can promote the transformation of Uchiha Qiaoshan's Mangekyō Sharingan into the eternal Mangekyō Sharingan. However, Uchiha Qiaoshan does not intend to do this. Whether you call him pretentious or stupid, he just wants to consolidate his foundation and temper his will through his hard training so that he can go further. Far, after all, his recent strength has come too easily, and it is easy for him to get carried away and lose his vigilance and enterprising spirit. Uchiha Qiaoshan did not go anywhere else. After all, no matter how secretive the place is, it is not as safe as in his own space. And as the master of the space, even if Uchiha Mikoto comes to the space through the space mark, Uchiha Qiaoshan can still sense it. The place where Uchiha Qiaoshan practices is on a flat rock at the highest point of the island, because here you can see the most beautiful scenery of the island, and you practice thunder escape armor on the rock. Since the rock is not conductive, you can use the thunder escape to the maximum extent. To stimulate cells throughout the body without worrying about the loss of thunder attribute chakra. Ever since Uchiha Okayama received the first stage of the thunder armor from the rebel ninja Kojima Mureo, he has never stopped practicing the thunder armor on his body. The origin of the thunder armor was later clarified through the interrogation of Mr. Kojima. It was Kojima Muro's student who was killed by him and secretly took it home. Since his student had relatively rare natural thunder attribute chakra, the student's father quietly mentioned it once to encourage him to work hard. Practicing, and this secret technique of thunder escape armor was obtained accidentally by his father on the battlefield. He did not expect that he would secretly show it off in front of Mr. Kojima. Mr. Kojima took advantage of it and was killed. He kills people and takes treasures. In fact, his family still doesn't know that the secret technique of thunder armor was secretly taken out. They only thought that it was because of conflicts that Kojima killed his student. When Uchiha Qiaoshan returned to the village to deliver the mission, he also said that he could not find Mr. Kojima. He suspected that Mr. Kojima had gone to sea and his whereabouts were unknown, causing the mission to fail. Uchiha Qiaoshan came to the rock with ease, took off his shirt and shoes, sat cross-legged on it, closed his eyes, and silently circulated the thunder attribute chakra, turning them into small electric currents, continuously stimulating his penis. Body. This kind of practice requires not only talent, but also endurance beyond ordinary people. After all, it is very painful to use electric current to continuously stimulate body cells and make them stronger. I saw some small electric currents flashing on Uchiha Qiaoshan's body, crackling and crackling, while the muscles on his body were beating and twitching constantly. After a while, Uchiha Qiaoshan's face was sweating. After all, not only the pain, but also the concentration in the pain, in order to be able to mobilize the current to accurately stimulate the corresponding location. Chapter 49 The Combat Power of Uchiha Qiaoshan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 49 Uchiha Okayama's Combat Power. As Uchiha Qiaoshan's training deepened, the electric current in his body increased more and more, and his body trembled more and more due to stimulation. From a distance, the dazzling electric current seemed to be covered with a bright blue armor. After practicing for 2 hours, Uchiha Qiaoshan stopped practicing. It was not that Uchiha Qiaoshan didn't want to practice, but that if he continued to practice, it would cause damage to his body and the gain would outweigh the loss. And relying on Uchiha Okayama's own crude medical ninjutsu, it is impossible to repair this kind of cell-level damage caused by practice. If Uchiha Qiaoshan had the body of a sage like Hashirama Senju, or the physique of the Uzumaki clan like Naruto Uzumaki, he would not be troubled like this. After all, the blood of the Uchiha clan does not have the ability to recover the body. Or if there is a medical ninja with superb medical skills around him, such as Tsunade or a pharmacist with glasses, he can also help Uchiha Qiaoshan recover his body faster, so that he can practice the thunder armor as he likes and strengthen his body. When Uchiha Qiaoshan felt the tingling sensation coming from deep inside his body, he knew that his body was reaching its limit. He sighed silently and slowly stopped practicing. Uchiha Qiaoshan opened his eyes. After finishing his training, he silently looked at the pleasant scenery in front of him with a calm expression on his face. After his trembling body recovered and ensured that his combat effectiveness had not declined, Uchiha Qiaoshan put on his clothes and teleported directly out of the space. The training is over, and it's time to eat. Since Uchiha Qiaoshan trained his body with the thunder armor, his appetite has increased greatly. One person can eat the rations of 4 or 5 strong men, which is the restaurant owner of Konoha village. People are well informed and are used to seeing ninjas like the Akimichi clan, otherwise they would have been surrounded by people. You can't often go to the clan leader and elder to get food. Uchiha Qiaoshan went to other people's homes to get food. If you let go of your own appetite and eat, then you are not here to get food, but to flip the table. Uchiha Qiaoshan came to Konoha village's famous attraction Ichiraku ramen again, and ordered several super large portions of ramen. There was no way, there was nothing delicious in the entire Konoha village. Barbecue was delicious, and Uchiha Qiaoshan didn't have any. Shien Dunton eats. After seeing Uchiha Okayama eating all the extra large portions of ramen he ordered without changing his expression, even the well-informed little lowly Iris was a little disappointed when she saw her favorite big brother eating so well. But still concerned about whether he had enough to eat, and secretly added a lot of fried eggs and sausages to the bottom of Uchiha Qiaoshan's bowl when Uncle Ichiraku wasn't paying attention. However, as his appetite increased, his body shape also underwent some obvious changes. Although Uchiha Qiaoshan obtained the Thunder Release armor and did not practice for a long time, Uchiha Qiaoshan's body shape was already comparable to before. It seems that he is stronger than before. If the previous body shape was similar to that of an adult Uchiha Itachi, a typical agile ninja and phantom ninja, then now he is developing into the body shape of Emperor Kai. Of course, he is far inferior to Kai in terms of physical skills. Moreover, Uchiha Okayama can feel that his body may have caught the little tail during the development period. Now under the stimulation of the thunder armor, he has the feeling of secondary growth. He faintly feels that he has grown taller. Since Uchiha Qiaoshan didn't want to get involved in making a list of first-tier teams, arranging personnel to prepare supplies, and handing over positions and tasks to the guard team, he couldn't shirk it, so he sent a shadow clone to help and observe. So Uchiha Qiaoshan the time in Buchyo Mountain suddenly became empty. The clan doesn't need to take care of it themselves, just leave it to the Great Elder and Uchiha Fugaku. After they gather the people, they can send them to Whirlpool Island themselves. As for the third Hokage, it's not time to report yet. Besides, even if he goes to report, I believe he will be a mascot, and he will be the link between the Leaf Village and the Uchiha clan. The Uchiha clan in Konoha village needs to be guarded against by the third Hokage and Danzo Shimura, for fear that the Uchiha will rebel one day. Don't worry, the Uchiha clan, as the largest clan in the ninja world, has this strength. Because the Uchiha clan's blood successor limited Sharingan is also a Jounin, and the Uchiha Jounin with the 3 Magatama Sharingan is not said to be able to kill instantly. An ordinary Jounin would definitely overwhelm them easily. But now, the Uchiha clan that separated from the Leaf Village is no longer someone to guard against, but a wealthy noble to win over. This is also the reason why Uchiha Qiaoshan wants Uchiha to leave Konoha village. Although leaving Konoha, the #1 ninja village in the ninja world, Uchiha may face the same predicament as the Uzumaki clan back then. However, Uchiha Qiaoshan believes in his own power more. If anyone wants to cause trouble, just start Susanoo. Go to the entrance of his village and block him. If he doesn't come out, I'm sorry, then I will go in to find you. What, you have found tens of thousands of ninjas to besiege me, and want to consume me to death just like the third Raikage. Well, then, I will use the Takamagahara space to leave the battlefield, open Susanoo, and go to your village to have fun. I really thought that Uchiha Okayama, agreed to the third Hokage's entry into the ANBU because I was afraid of him. I wasn't just coveting the blood successors and secret techniques of Konoha village. I hadn't chatted with Yamato who was a member of the Wooden Dungeon, and I hadn't looked for a chance to knock out Kaka. West, take a look at his divine Sharingan. I'm still waiting for the third-generation Hokage to be killed by Orochimaru and talk about life ideals with the successor fifth-generation Hokage. Therefore, with the current combat power of Uchiha Qiaoshan, unless Uchiha Madara or the first Hokage Senju Hashirama are resurrected, others will really be unable to do anything to him. Of course, Uchiha Okayama's trump cards cannot be revealed. Although his abilities are very powerful, only the hidden trump cards are the trump cards. you may not have noticed that even the immortal duo of the Akatsuki organization had abnormal abilities and extremely strong survivability. However, after their trump card was discovered, they were still managed to kill them. Therefore, the trump card that has been hidden is the good trump card, and the enemy that is killed is the good enemy. Since Uchiha Qiaoshan opened the Mangekyō Sharingan until now, Uchiha Qiaoshan has been hiding his trump cards and ice skills intentionally or unintentionally. People who think they know him now actually only understand a limited part. If others knew that his pupil technique could copy and learn other people's blood inheritance limits and secret techniques, then his chances of success would drop to an absurd level, and he would also be affected by those families who are good at blood inheritance limits and secret techniques. The Hostility of Ninjas. Chapter 50 Group Space Transfer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Therefore, only when Uchiha Qiaoshan relies on his own strength and stands on top of the world, and no one can do anything to him, is when he becomes unscrupulous and domineering, instead of relying on those few tailed beasts that can rebel at any time to become a six paths level existence. Things like tailed beasts can only become pets and tools. It is absolutely impossible to rely on them to become the cornerstone of one's own strength. Don't forget, the chakra of the six paths sage is still circulating in the ninja world. Until now, he still has the ability to give Naruto and Sasuke the ability to become six-path level combatants. Thinking back to the beginning, he separated the nine-tailed beast from the ten-tailed body. With the meticulous style of the Sage of Six Paths, it was difficult to say whether he had done anything to the nine-tailed beast, not to mention the immortal body of Senju Hashirama. The Sharingan of the Uchiha clan has actually gone its own way. Instead of just relying on the power passed to him by Indra from the Six Paths Sage, Uchiha Qiaoshan had a fairly fulfilling life these days. During the day, he divided himself into several shadow clones to help and learn from the Elder and Uchiha Fugaku, while he hid in the space and practiced the Thunder Escape armor hard. When he was tired from practicing, he sneak out of the space and wander around Konoha village looking for delicious food. Since the Uchiha clan was about to move out recently, even the police force that had been tightly held in their hands was gradually being handed over. Therefore, neither the Hokage family nor the large and small families in Konoha village have anything to do with the Uchiha clan. Who knows whether the Uchiha clan was forced to leave Konoha village or willingly. To stimulate them at this time is not to give them I can't find it happy myself. Since Danzo Shimura was killed by Uchiha Okayama with a Susanoo sword, he has not come out to look for trouble again, so he may be able to be honest for a while. Therefore, although Uchiha Qiaoshan wandered a lot in the streets and alleys of Konoha village, looking for delicious food everywhere, he did not encounter any trouble that was not short-sighted. Uchiha Qiaoshan no longer practices at night. A proper combination of work and rest can make practice more efficient. Instead, he takes out the book he took from the Great Elder and reads it when he has nothing to do. Time should be used as a long-term experience. In the dead of night, Uchiha Okayama would summon Uchiha Mikoto into the space to discuss the meaning of life with Sister Mikoto, and then make his own contribution to the prosperity of the Uchiha clan. It takes a long time every time, but nothing else has changed. However, Uchiha Qiaoshan found that after these few days of nourishment, Sister Mikoto's whole person became more radiant than before, and she looked a little prettier. Even her eyes felt able to drip water. After several days of preparation, the Great Elder and clan leader finally prepared the first echelon of personnel and materials. One sunny morning, in the Nanga temple of the Uchiha clan, more than 100 Uchiha ninjas gathered quietly. Each of them is fully armed, with a heroic figure and firm eyes. They are all elites carefully selected by the Great Elder and Uchiha Fugaku, because Whirlpool Island has been abandoned for many years, and it must now be filled with hordes of wild beasts and full of dangers. Therefore, the first batch of tribesmen sent there must be those with top-notch combat effectiveness and combat experience. In order to successfully complete this mission, the elders transferred all elites this time. Even many jonin who hold important positions in the guard force were transferred here. The guard force was going to be handed over anyway, so it would be a little chaotic now. Let's be a bit chaotic. The future of the Uchiha clan is more important. The people who were transferred were looking forward to this operation, because the great elders and clan leaders had told them that this operation was to lay a good foundation for the Uchiha clan's relocation. The news that the Uchiha clan was leaving Konoha village and moving out had long spread throughout the clan. The entire clan cheered for the Uchiha clan's relocation. They are not stupid. They have been so miserable in Konoha village these years. People in the village do not regard them as their own people and are hostile to them because of their duties as a guard force. As someone who comes from the Uchiha family, the #1 blood successor family in the ninja world, I also have my own pride. Now all the cats and dogs come to Uchiha to make their presence felt. Since you don't welcome us, we don't bother to be with you. We, the Uchiha clan, have been here alone for thousands of years. Do we still have to rely on you people who join groups for warmth and fight with each other? Now he is finally out of the Leaf Village, which is a burden to Uchiha. And the people of the Uchiha clan are holding their breath in their hearts. Without you, our Uchiha clan will live a better life. Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at the neatly lined up clan members in front of him. His temperament was cold but silent. This was the elite of the Uchiha clan. At this size, he could walk sideways outside and destroy a small ninja village with ease. Such an easy thing. Uchiha Qiaoshan looked at Uchiha Fugaku, who was standing at the front of the team, and confirmed again, "Clan leader, are you sure you want to lead the team personally this time? You can definitely wait for the second and third echelons to go over." Uchiha Fugaku was also fully armed. After hearing Uchiha Qiaoshan's words of dissuasion, he shook his head. It is related to the future of our Uchiha clan. I must go and see it in person before I can rest assured. Qiaoshan, you are now the leader of our Uchiha clan. The #1 master and the deputy chief of the Uchiha tribe, you must shoulder your responsibilities. After I leave, the safety of the tribe here will be left to you. Don't act impulsively, and discuss with the elders more often. Hearing Uchiha Fugaku's words, Uchiha Qiaoshan was also a little speechless. Unexpectedly, he sent a shadow clone to follow the elder and the clan leader to study for a few days, and then they placed him in the position of deputy clan leader. He also understood that after all, he is the top master of the Uchiha clan. If his position or reputation is too low, he will not be able to explain himself to the outside world, and the clan will not feel safe. Seeing that he could not persuade Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Qiaoshan agreed to him. After Uchiha Fugaku had made arrangements, Qiaoshan looked at the neatly arranged people standing in front of him and said, "Relax your whole body, don't resist." With that said, Uchiha Qiaoshan opened his Mangekyō Sharingan, and all the chakra in his body rushed towards the Sharingan crazily. Qiaoshan's Mangekyō Sharingan was also rotating at high speed. Technique Takamagahara. Activate that as the sight of Uchiha Okayama's Mangekyō Sharingan shifted, where it was looking, a member of the clan disappeared quietly without leaving any trace. After a short while, including Uchiha Fugaku, more than 100 people inside were all transferred to the island in the Takamagahara space by Uchiha Qiaoshan.